Dillian Whyte gave a short list of 3 names for his next fight. And the names were Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz, and Otto Wallin. Now, at the moment, it appears as though Povetkin is the front runner because apparently his team have responded to Dillian Whyte's call out. Now, Dillian Whyte actually called Povetkin out a couple years back. Some of you may remember. And at the time, the response from most people that I saw on the internet was that Dillian Whyte would get smoked by Povetkin. That's what most people were saying. I remember at the time. But 2 years on from then, obviously, Povetkin lost to Joshua. He had that fight against Hughie Fury, which he won, and also the draw with Michael Hunter. Has he deteriorated sufficiently for people to give Dillian Whyte the edge over him now? Probably. But with that being said, Dillian Whyte didn't look great in his last fight against Mariusz Wach. Although it was a short notice fight. I think he took it on about 3 weeks notice. And he was grossly overweight. So, maybe we have to make allowances for that. I would suggest we definitely have to make allowances for that. You can't expect a guy to be at his best when he's taking a fight on 3 weeks notice and he's 20 pounds overweight. And when his mind is not really in the right place, given what Dillian Whyte was going through with regards to his UCAD situation. So, yeah, you can't expect the best Dillian Whyte in that situation. Going into the Povetkin fight, I think he'll need to be at his best. Even though Povetkin is not quite what he was a couple years ago, he's still very dangerous. He's still a good counterpuncher, still takes a good shot, still hits hard enough, still technically good. He's got a wealth of experience. I think Dillian Whyte will need to be on his A game. It makes sense that he's fighting somebody like Povetkin. At least Povetkin's coming off a draw and a win. And they can compare Dillian Whyte's performance against Povetkin to AJ's if they want to sell an AJ Dillian Whyte rematch somewhere down the line. And as I say, he's a former Olympic gold medalist, former world champion. He's got all the credentials. He's only lost 2 fights, both against reigning world champions. So he makes sense. The other names on Dillian Whyte's shortlist, Andy Ruiz, that also makes sense. Even though Ruiz is coming off a loss, it's not like he got battered in the loss or anything. He got outboxed. And he has that good win over Anthony Joshua in the first fight. So Dillian Whyte, again, if he goes up against Joshua, it's going to be, can he do a better job than AJ did? Can he do it in more impressive fashion? The other one, Otto Wallin, same thing. Can he do a more impressive job on Otto Wallin than Tyson Fury did? And that's really where Dillian Whyte sat. I saw somebody say that Dillian Whyte is getting fed Anthony Joshua leftovers. Well, he's going to be fighting people's leftovers, people. I mean, he's been fighting the likes of Oscar Rivas, who isn't anybody's leftovers. But, of course, in the top 10, a lot of the guys have been beaten. So, yeah, you're going to fight someone's leftover, aren't you, eventually? It's a silly thing to say. Was Muhammad Ali fighting George Foreman leftovers? You know what I mean? Like when he fought Joe Frazier and Ken Norton the third time. What was he fighting? George Foreman left? Look, a good fight is a good fight, regardless who they've fought before. There are some people calling for Dillian Whyte still now to fight Luis Ortiz. Well, he'd be fighting a Wilder leftover then. So it's foolishness, really. I think it's a good fight. And, given Dillian Whyte's situation, which is an interesting situation, he's mandatory for the WBC. He's interim champion. What do you do in that predicament there? Do you wait it out? Do you take on a bunch of cream puffs for a year and then fight whoever's WBC champion in early 2021? Or do you stay active against more dangerous opponents? That appears to be the road that Dillian Whyte is going down. Staying more active against dangerous opponents. So, more power to him. Let's see what happens there, whether it's Povetkin, Andy Ruiz. Personally, my personal preference for Dillian Whyte in his next fight, just from a perspective of a boxing fan who wants to see the best fights, not from a managerial perspective, because from a managerial perspective, you might even prefer Dillian Whyte not to fight anybody dangerous at all and just basically wait it out until 2021. But from a boxing fan perspective, I would personally prefer Dillian Whyte to fight Andy Ruiz because Ruiz is still young. He's dangerous. He's got quick hands. If he beats Ruiz, nobody can say, oh, he beat an old man or somebody who has been in loads of wars and he's past it. No, Ruiz is still fresh, still got that hand speed, takes a great shot. And I think it would be a real good fight, stylistically. It's a fight which, quite honestly, I would be tipping Andy Ruiz to win, but it's not, you know, I wouldn't make Ruiz such a massive favorite that I can't see Dillian Whyte winning. No, I would see it maybe 55-45 in Ruiz's favor. That's how I'd see that fight. And if Dillian Whyte could win that and win that impressively, I think that would be one of the best, if not the best, scalps so far that he's taken. I mean, we have to find out how good Oscar Rivas is. Maybe he'll turn out to be better than Andy Ruiz in the long run. I mean, he obviously beat him in the amateurs. But in the pros, you know, we'll see about him. But as of right now, as things stand at the moment, it would be his most impressive win on the resume, you know, beating Andy Ruiz. I mean, you can say Joseph Parker is his most impressive win, but in retrospect, Joseph Parker did beat Andy Ruiz by moving around. There was a lot of controversy around that fight. And if you look at their respective performance against AJ, at least Andy Ruiz has got a win over AJ, you know, whereas Joseph Parker didn't manage to get a win. So, I don't know. It would be between Ruiz and Joseph Parker in terms of Dillian Whyte's most impressive performance, you know, the best scalp on his record. So, yeah, personally, I would like that fight above the Povetkin fight, but I'm not going to grumble at the Povetkin fight, particularly under the current circumstances in Dillian Whyte's career. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out. Hatman merch is now available. We got t-shirts, vests, hoodies, and more. Just click the link below.